Welcome to this Jesmond Community Festival Roundtable discussion. First, I'd like to thank everyone for agreeing to take part and coming along this evening. Also, a special thank you to Rob Hawkins, who is the Reverend here at the Methodist Church, for allowing us to use this room. The Methodist Church has several recently refurbished rooms that are all available for conferences, seminars and meetings, and full details can be available on their website. Okay, so tonight we've decided to host a roundtable discussion to discuss Jesmond Community Festival 2011, to talk about what was really good but wasn't quite right, what can be improved, and to raise some of the issues that came to our attention over the festival period. We're hoping for it to be a really positive discussion with good feedback and good ideas that will benefit next year's festival and festivals in the years to come. Your chair this evening will be Jack Bond.
I'm Jack Bond. I have lived in Jesmond for 2 years and I'm a student.
I'm Rosie Hemelsway. I've lived in Jesmond for 2 years and we've just been covering the festival over the 2-week period.
I'm David Hickling. I'm Community Officer at Newcastle University Students' Union. My involvement in the festival was promoting the student union, having a stall at the fair and helping organise a student showcase event at the festival. And I've lived in Jesmond for 4 years now.
I'm Chris Clark. I'm one of the trustees of Jesmond Swimming Pool, and I'm also on the management committee of the Jesmond Community Forum, which is the body which organises the festival, basically. So I was on the small group that organised the festival. Basically, we're all volunteers, but we have one paid employee for this purpose, who is Chris.
Yeah, I'm the event manager for the Jesmond Festival, but my company's Line PMC was promotions and marketing consultancy. We have evolved, developed a professional performance management base in the North East of England. From here we import and export international. We are funded clients of Arts Council. My speciality within the last 25 years has been within world music. We do festivals all over the world, and because I'm half lived in Jesmond, don't anymore, but still lots of connections with Jesmond, and I tend to do a lot of regional festivals, Ousburn, Jesmond Festival, Justice Street Festival.
I'm David Harpen. I'm chair of a Belgian group. I didn't have anything to do with the festival, apart from turning up and doing a political stall at the festival.
I'm John Farben. I'm also on the Jesmond Community Committee, although I came on quite late in the day this year, so I didn't have a great deal to do with organising the festival from that point of view. But I'm also a member of the committee of the British Region Club in West Jesmond, who hosted about half a dozen events over the festival period.
I'm David Reid. I'm a student. I've never lived in Jesmond, unfortunately, and I covered some of the events for the university.
And I'm Sophie Walker. I'm a student and I work for Jesmond Local, and we were covering the events for the past 3 weeks.
Okay, so let's get this discussion underway. I'll start with Chris Clark. In terms of the Jesmond Festival, what have you set out to achieve?
Basically, there are a lot of small individual community groups in Jesmond, but they tend to be relatively isolated. So one of the original purposes of the festival was to try and get the groups to work together on the basis that if a lot of different groups all work together on a single festival over a fortnight, they could make a lot better impact than if just individual organisations are holding individual events in isolation. So that was the main point. But we also wanted to try and make sure that there were things going on for all age groups and for as many different types of group in Jesmond as possible.
Chris Murtagh, what sort of things does it take to organise an event like the Jesmond Festival?
Well, I think you need your template to begin with, like Chris has said, and that template was very much to actually facilitate what the various communities in Jesmond would support and provide for them what they required, what they would like to see within a festival context. And that has proved very successful. I think initially you had to put in place a structure to begin with, but now my job has become an awful lot easier because everybody is organising their own thing, and all I do is maybe just go around and tweak here and there, lend a microphone or a PA, whatever. So it's just the facilitation of that, and I think that's the right way to go about a community festival, and make sure it remains a community festival rather than becoming the biggest live free festival in the universe sort of thing, which has been the demise of many festivals which I could relate. And that's things sticking with the community, staying with the community and treating them with respect and providing what they want in a festival has been our main concern.
I'll open the floor now to everyone. How do people think Jesmond Festival benefits the community?
I don't know, from my perspective, I think it brings a real sense of community spirit, almost. I think it's a good chance to show the diversity Jesmond has to offer by bringing the groups together, and it is the premier way Jesmond, all these groups getting together and showcasing what they're all about and things like that. And I think it's, you know, often in terms of how I sort of approach my involvement in Jesmond through sort of trying to increase cooperation between students and residents. You can see how often differences can be, you know, exaggerated, and I think the festival is a really good way of harnessing what can be very different groups of people and bringing them together for something really constructive and beneficial.
Thank you, David Hickling. David Hardman.
Bringing the groups together. I mean, my organisation, Belgian Group, didn't do anything this year for various reasons, but it is essential to our groups to actually kind of be involved in other things. Otherwise, you're struggling to get things done, and you don't have any kind of support from other people except for your little group. And by connecting with this, you actually get to see what other people have done and go, oh, okay, we could do that. And so you get to talk to people and meet people, and it is an opportunity to actually kind of reflect on what you're doing and show what you're doing to other people. So that it's kind of sharing knowledge.
So do you think it creates kind of like a network, almost, that people can...
Very definitely. I mean, it could be done so much more, and I think as more effort's put into it and more time goes by, that's the thing about the festival. It has built on from a very, very small beginning, which was, I think, quite deliberate. It started off with not trying to having pretensions of being a rock festival. It said we just want to be a community festival, and anyone who wants to get involved can get involved. And it's grown and it was bigger this year than previous years. And I think that can be built on massively. I mean, there are so many small groups, just things like resident associations who do street parties. That they might go, well, actually, we'll do our street party at the same time as the festival, and you might get a network of street parties going on, and therefore you can help each of the resident associations do a street party or do something different, and they'll do different things. So they might do a barbecue or whatever, but the festival can actually just kind of help them go in the right direction to build their community better on that street. And therefore, having a festival in place kind of gives you some structure to call on for advice or help on doing something.
So who would the advice and the support come from?
Chris?
It's mainly from the different groups.
Different groups.
Because basically, well, I think we've got something like 30 or 40 different groups involved in the festival now. They range from some which are pretty experienced and almost big businesses like the British Legion or the swimming pool, which are quite, substantial entities. But then you've got other groups which really are only sort of 2 or 3 old ladies basically organising something. And those sort of folk benefit hugely from meeting other groups and seeing what can be done and getting advice and support just from the peers. I think when we started, people used to say, oh, there isn't anything in Jesmond. There's no community centres in Jesmond. Jesmond hasn't got this, that and the other. But what is apparent actually is that Jesmond has got masses and masses and masses of different community activities and community buildings and things going on all over the place. But often they are only known by the group of people who actually attend them regularly anyway. And what the festival has been reasonably successful in doing is helping the groups spread the word a bit, so that a few extra people hear about what goes on in the British Legion and what goes on in the Methodist Church here or whatever, and hopefully that means that a few of the people who first go to things during the festival will keep going.
Do we know if that's actually happened, John?
I think from the British Legion's point of view, definitely. Certainly, I know when we had the market on, which we had on one of the Sundays, we had 300 or 400 people through the door, and you hear people time and time again say, "Well, I just didn't know the building was there." And likewise, with the student events, getting students is something that we're really trying to do, and something we're finding difficult because of the historical reputation of the place. But to get students coming through the door and saying, "Oh, this is a friendly place where we can come and have a drink or come and see a band," is great for the club.